Drama exploded at Monza as Oscar Piastri was forced to give up a hard-earned position. And fans are not happy. His manager, Mark Webber, is furious, the paddock is buzzing, and suddenly McLaren's calm, united front looks anything but. Was this really about fairness, or about protecting Lando Norris? This isn't just a pit stop controversy. It's a test of trust, team politics, and the championship fight itself. And if McLaren gets this wrong, the fallout could follow them all the way to Abu Dhabi. That frustration isn't unique to Piastri, Mark Webber, his manager and someone who knows the politics of Formula One better than most, was blunt in his assessment. To him, what happened on Sunday felt like creeping favoritism. And when someone like Webber raises the alarm, people listen. Damon Hill even weighed in, sparking fan debate across social media. And the reaction was telling. This was bigger than one slow pit stop. Here's how it all unfolded, and why it set the entire Formula One world on fire. Lando Norris was sitting comfortably in P2, chasing Max Verstappen, with McLaren perfectly positioned to execute a late double-stack pit stop. The strategy was simple. Oscar Piastri would box first to cover Charles Leclerc. Then Norris would follow on the very next lap, over team radio. Race engineer Will Joseph gave Norris an assurance that would become the center of this controversy. There would be no undercut, no team games. Norris, ever the competitor, asked the obvious follow-up. So the order is locked, right? Joseph confirmed it. The deal was done, the position secured. Piastri came in first and delivered perfection. A lightning-fast 1.9-second stop. That put pressure on the pit crew to match that speed when Norris rolled in. But then, disaster struck. Norris front left. Tire refused to cooperate, costing him for agonizing seconds stationary. When he rejoined the track, he was now behind Piastri. To any neutral fan, that was just racing. Pure, unscripted, unpredictable drama. But to McLaren, it represented something else, a promise broken by fate. Moments later, race engineer Tom Stallard came on the radio with the message that turned Monza into a flashpoint. Oscar, let Lando back through. Piastri's reply was short, sharp, and brutally clear. He reminded the team of a simple truth. Slow stops are part of racing. Pit stop errors, gusts of wind, badly timed safety cars. They are all part of the chaos that makes Formula One what it is. So why, he asked, was the situation being treated differently? Why was the natural order of the race being rewritten from the pit wall? And yet, in the end, Piastri complied. And that detail speaks volumes. A young driver in the middle of a title fight does not give up track position lightly. But Piastri, ever the professional, swallowed that bitter pill for the sake of the team and the bigger picture. Still, the frustration was obvious. After the race, Andrea Stella defended the call, framing it as a matter of principle. The team's strategy had been built around trust. Trust that the order wouldn't change because of factors outside the driver's control. Restoring Norris to second, Stella insisted, wasn't favoritism, it was fairness. But for many fans, and for Piastri himself, that explanation didn't fully erase the sting. But if you take the racer's view, this was about risk, reward, and consequence. Piastri and his crew executed flawlessly. The clock rewarded them. A 4-second pit delay is part of the sport's chaos. Just like gusts of wind or late virtual safety cars. From that angle, restoring Norris to second felt like erasing a sporting outcome that had been earned. Fans seemed to agree. Damon Hill even ran a poll, and the majority of fans said they weren't happy with the call. Team orders are tolerated when there's a clear championship picture, and one driver is mathematically preferred. They are accepted when the strategy is transparent, but they are resented when they appear to sand down a moment of pure sporting drama. Stella remained consistent. He insisted that the choice to pit Piastri first and Norris later was about covering Ferrari and reducing risk from race control. Both drivers were told the order would be preserved. From his perspective, restoring Norris to second wasn't a gift, it was a return to the baseline that had been agreed upon. Still, Stella admitted the team will review the principles again, especially around slow stops and sequencing, and make sure both drivers are aligned. That's a significant detail. It means the rulebook is still being written. and with 8 races to go. That could make all the difference. Piastri left Monza with his championship lead trimmed to 31 points. Still healthy, but smaller when you lose 3 points after a perfect Sunday. It changes the mental game. It compresses the margin for error. And that is where Mark Webber's voice matters most. Webber has lived through the worst version of this story. He knows how small moments can snowball into narratives of favoritism, sometimes fairly, sometimes not. When he says that Piastri's points lead doesn't reflect the control he's shown this season, he isn't making a nationalist plea. He's asking for respect. Norris, to his credit, tried to defuse the situation. He pushed back against the idea that he's being protected by the team, admitted he admires Max Verstappen's hard edge, and made it clear he wants to win on merit. That honesty is part of why McLaren has stayed relatively calm internally. Piastri is measured, calculated, and clinical. Norris is more outwardly emotional, but both are fast enough to beat the other on any given Sunday. And that's exactly why this matters when you have two talents that evenly matched. The team lives or dies by its ability to communicate boundaries clearly before the lights go out. Fans love to pick villains. Webber as the grieved consigliere, Norris as the protected asset, Piastri as the wronged champion-elect, and McLaren as either noble or manipulative. But the reality is less theatrical and much more fragile. If one side believes the scales have tipped, even slightly, performance starts to erode, even if the data says everything is equal. Jacques Villeneuve made an important point. McLaren isn't Red Bull in 2010. There's no institutional bias carved into the walls of Woking. That means this story is still being written, and McLaren still holds the pen. Keep the playing field level, and the drivers will keep the temperature down. Fumble the messaging, and every slow stop and every undercut will be seen as intentional. And that's why what happened at Monza matters more than 3 points. It's a stress test of McLaren's social contract. If both drivers still believe the rules are fair, McLaren will fight for the title with 2 cars. If doubt creeps in, the title fight becomes harder than it needs to be. Because that's the real tension here. Racing purity versus team management. Pure racing says reward execution and accept luck, good or bad. Team management says minimize risk, keep promises, and control outcomes. The best teams reconcile those two philosophies in a way their drivers trust. McLaren insists. That's what happened. Piastri's tone suggests he's not fully convinced. Webber's instincts say he'll be watching closely. And fans? They aren't buying the corporate version just yet. The final act is predictable. Piastri will put his head down, say the right things, and keep collecting points. Norris will insist. He's moved on and keep swinging for wins. McLaren will conduct a review that sounds procedural, and then we'll head to Qatar, where the chaos will start all over again. And that's why this moment matters. Because if McLaren can turn this controversy into clarity, write the rule down, read it to both drivers, and enforce it no matter what, they will look like a team of principle, not a team of spin. If they don't, the echoes of Monza will follow them all the way to Abu Dhabi. So what do you think? Was McLaren right to restore Norris to second? Or should the race have been left to play out on track? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's settle this debate. And if you love deep dives like this, hit that like button. Share this with fellow F1 fans. And subscribe, because this season's drama is only just getting started. Thanks for watching.